is on now.
Flipped in a fire emergency as out-of-control blazes threaten 2 regional towns tonight. The latest live. How you are footing the bill to get rid of millions of out-of-date rats. Exclusive. Trains to trial the new Yanchep extension as soon as tomorrow. Facebook pleads not guilty in Twiggy's clickbait battle. And the major blow for Donald Trump that could rule him out of the White House race. Plus, Merry Fishmas to all, where you can get Perth's best local seafood this week.
This is 9 News Perth with Michael Thomson.
Good evening. Breaking news to start this hour. Big fires burning in 2 regional WA towns tonight. This is a live shot of Lanceland from our news helicopter. The coastal town right now cut off by road. The fire burning between the golf course and town site, heading in a northwesterly direction toward the beach. Homes also under threat along Lanceland Road, west of Old Ledge Point Road. Residents are being told they are in danger and that they need to leave their homes immediately and head for the town jetty. Lanceland Road is closed as firefighters battle the flames. Meantime, a fire truck has flipped, injuring a crew member as it raced to an emergency in West 2J today. A fast-moving bushfire there forced residents to flee their homes. Tonight, it's still burning out of control.
An out-of-control blaze sparking an emergency warning for West 2J and Julimar. Firefighters racing to help, becoming the crisis when their truck rolled on River Road, trapping 5 on board. One volunteer taken to Northam Hospital with an arm injury.
It's not the best thing you'd like to hear when you're at an incident and you hear that this occurs, because everyone's trying to do their best and it sort of takes the focus away from a main effort of trying to fight the fires.
Strong winds blowing the blaze west, burning through 90 hectares of bush. Residents stranded, unable to get to their homes in the fire zone.
What about my horse who's locked in a yard? He's going to burn to death. And no one can handle him because he's a rescue.
The horse trainer evacuating 15 of her beloved animals from her Sand Spring Road property, returning for the remaining foal this afternoon, only to be stopped at the roadblock.
And he said, no, they changed, I can't let you through. I said, you promised me I could go back.
And her husband's out there fighting the fire right now.
And he's not even a firefighter. Yeah.
She's one of dozens of locals forced to flee under threat from the raging bushfire. Also left in the lurch, Santhini and Clarence Smith, seeing smoke, taking only dog Charlie and the clothes on their back.
Well, it is very frustrating because I've got some of my valuables still at the property and my car is still there.
The blaze started on Julimar Road around 11 a.m.
Currently we have around 50 appliances and about 100-odd firefighters working to protect life and property in that area.
The danger only increasing.
As we move into this evening, the winds, as you can see, are going to stay strong and from the east. That's forecasted for the next couple of days.
Ezra Holt, 9 News.
Let's go live to 2J now with Ezra Holt. And Ezra, what's the latest on the fire tonight?
Well, Michael, the fire is still out of control and uncontained. That emergency warning remains in place tonight. The blaze is still moving fast in a northwesterly direction, but that could change with southeasterly winds expected. Drivers are urged to beware. Julimar Road is closed tonight between Chittering Road and Coondle West Road. Drivers are urged to drive with caution. As for those who have been evacuated from their properties, they can attend the evacuation centre behind me at 2J Memorial Hall. Michael, for firefighters tonight here in 2J and in Lanceland, it's set to be a long night ahead.
It certainly is, Ezra. Thank you, and we'll have a live update on that Lanceland fire later this hour. Taxpayers are being slugged an extra $4 million to get rid of expired rapid antigen tests. The blowout revealed in the state's media review as the government tonight defends its COVID spendathon.
In warehouses across Perth, rat removal is proving expensive. Another $4 million added to the health budget to recycle or throw out rapid antigen tests that have expired.
$4 million to get rid of the expired unused tests
is an absolute disgrace. But the real question is, will taxpayers be footing more?
More than 11 million rats will be disposed of. More than 9 million have already been returned to their manufacturer. Our pandemic rat problem was described as baffling by the Auditor-General. In her report in May, Caroline Spencer found that the government aimed to spend $3 million on rapid antigen tests. The Departments of Health and Finance lacked a plan and coordination and wound up spending more than $500 million, buying enough for 40 tests per West Australian, far more than any other state. The stockpile's enormous, the government leasing an extra 8 warehouses just for storage. The government is standing by its spending, calling its rat program a success. That extra $4 million will now go towards the disposal of the leftovers in a sustainable way. Taxpayers were also slugged nearly $200,000 this year to pay Cleanaway to dispose of leftover hand sanitizer. Michael Genovese, 9 News.
Let's cross live now to Michael Genovese with an exclusive update on the Yanchep rail extension. Michael.
Yeah, Michael, trains will hit these tracks in the next 2 days. We'll see test runs and carriages slowly inching their way from Butler through Eglinton to Alkimos and to Yanchep in what is a major milestone, not just for the Yanchep line, but also for the Metronet project more broadly. Remember, this is the government's flagship infrastructure build, and this marks the first time that any of Labor's new train tracks will actually run a passenger carriage. The cost has blown out more than $2 billion this year alone, but as far as timing goes, it couldn't be much better for the Cook government, Michael. This is set to open early next year and service Perth's growing northern suburbs, where votes will be crucial at the 2025 election.
A significant milestone, Michael. Thank you. Facebook will fight charges brought by WA mining magnate Andrew Forrest and Jamie Freestone. This is over an alleged crypto ad scam.
Yes, Michael. Twiggy accuses Meta, Facebook's parent company, of being criminally reckless in allowing adverts with his image to appear on Facebook. The tech giant's lawyers today pleading not guilty at Armidale Magistrates Court to 3 counts of recklessly dealing with the proceeds of crime to the value of $1,000 or more. This is significant because when the case was launched last year, it was the first time Meta had faced criminal charges in connection with the running of Facebook anywhere in the world. And Michael, the next court date will be in February.
Jamie, thank you for the update. A woman is behind bars tonight, charged with setting fire to a man in Brentwood. Police say Talia Erin Russell doused the 57-year-old man with a flammable liquid before sparking a fire on Cranford Avenue Monday night. The victim, suffering serious burns to his stomach and chest, has been recovering in Fiona Stanley Hospital. Court has been told how a towel allegedly shoved into a woman's mouth led police to her accused attacker, Edmund Margini. A former sword boy turned construction union official was granted bail today after being charged over the 2011 home invasion in Rockingham. The 46-year-old arrested following new DNA testing. WA's dodgy apartment builders are being put on notice tonight with inspections of high-rise buildings to be made mandatory. But the law shake-up won't take effect for another 3 years and misses out on shonky homes.
Bethany Evans is one of dozens waiting to get the keys to their Shenton Quarter apartments.
There seems to be some major structural issues here.
Union officials uncovered the problems, but from 2026, apartment complexes 4 storeys or more and commercial buildings will face mandatory inspections.
If the reported defects had been noticed, they could have been reviewed independently, and then the right solution could be fixed before we get to a 95% completion.
It'll be up to landowners to coordinate building surveys.
Construction may need to halt while those things are fixed. But that's the importance of doing this, is that you fix these problems as they arise.
We believe there's a long way to go. It is a starting point, but there's far more that has to happen.
The reforms will also see the Building Commissioner gain enhanced powers, with officers given authority to enter any construction site, issue directions on technical matters and notify councils about any serious non-compliant work. Advocates say buyers should avoid purchasing apartments off the plan until after the reforms.
The reason for that is if you buy over 4 storeys and your builder goes bust, the owners pay the defects.
Others say that's fear-mongering.
Very irresponsible. Again, WA has a unique building and construction environment, and I'll stress again, we have not seen anywhere near the same level of defects and issues that we have sadly seen on the eastern seaboard.
Complexes under 4 storeys not subject to mandatory inspections until at least 2027. Family homes not on the agenda at all. Jamie Freestone, 9 News.
Families in far north Queensland have been forced to leave everything behind as they're evacuated from areas cut off by devastating flooding. Officials warning the damage bill will likely hit $1 billion.
With barely any possessions except for the clothes on their backs, men and women clutching children race towards their only lifeline. Filing one by one onto the waiting ADF helicopter. After days stranded in a remote far north Queensland community, they were flown to nearby Cooktown. These just some of the hundreds of evacuees rescued from roofs and flood-ravaged properties in a major military operation.
That really is the miracle of this event, an event so big and, as far as we know at this stage, no loss of life.
But an elderly local is still missing and 35 communities in the state's far north remain cut off.
One of the key issues we still face in some of the remote communities is resupply of food, groceries, medicine, water.
The only way to send essentials north of Cairns is by boat, and this is why the normally picture-perfect 70-kilometre stretch of the Captain Cook Highway is littered with landslides. It could be weeks before the road's repaired, leaving holiday hotspot Port Douglas isolated and quickly running out of supplies. The clean-up continues across the northern beaches of Cairns. Sunny skies now at Holloways Beach. It was one of the hardest hit areas. Residents are today counting the costs.
There is quite a large number that are homeless, or they are staying in their homes and they're completely trashed. They've lost everything. Power
is slowly returning to the far north. A flood appeal has been launched to provide financial assistance to affected families. Abby Guerin, 9 News.
The Prime Minister has all but confirmed Australia will not send a warship to the Middle East to help protect a vital trade route. The United States requested international assistance because of ongoing trouble in the Red Sea region, including attacks on commercial vessels.
Good to see you again. Anthony Albanese confirming an old friendship with a new counterpart from across the ditch.
Our two countries are most effective when we work together.
New Zealand is committed to doing our share of the heavy lifting in the alliance.
But it's what both nations might do as part of a bigger alliance that's in hot debate.
From the beginning, we said that this is an international challenge. It requires collective and international action.
Militants from Yemen are causing major trade chaos in the Red Sea, one of the world's busiest shipping routes. With weapons and armed drones from Iran, the Houthis have already seized an Israeli-linked cargo ship and attacked several others. BP and cargo giant Maersk among companies to suspend sailing through the Suez Canal. The US quietly requesting Australia send a warship to help keep the sea lanes safe.
We've made no decision yet. We're working it through the normal processes.
That's the official line, when it appears a decision has in fact been made.
We know that the US understands the best way for Australia to support this is through diplomatic support.
In other words, Australia won't be sending a warship, signing instead a statement with 43 other nations condemning Houthi attacks that threaten the supply of food, fuel and humanitarian assistance.
Well, I've got news for the Prime Minister. Press releases don't shoot down drones, warships do.
One defence expert suggesting sophisticated Australian warships aren't properly equipped to counter drone attack.
Well, you've got a $1,000 drone against a $1 million missile, and they've got lots more drones.
The curious lack of clarity as to whether Australia will or won't send a warship suggests indecision or argument inside government. Either way, food and fuel prices are about to creep higher as shipping costs increase. Andrew Probyn, 9 News.
The race to the White House is taking a stunning turn with Donald Trump booted off the ballot in Colorado after a court ruled he's ineligible to hold office. The decision set to have a big impact on the 2024 election.
On the campaign trail at Christmas time.
A very Merry Christmas.
A show of support in Iowa as the former president received an unwanted gift from Colorado. The state's Supreme Court ruling Donald Trump ineligible for the White House because of his role in the January 6 attack on the Capitol.
Under the 14th Amendment's rarely used insurrection clause.
It's a Civil War-era amendment to keep Confederates out of government, used only a handful of times in 150 years.
We usually do not have presidents try to steal elections.
They say I'm a threat to democracy. No, Joe Biden is a threat to democracy.
Today's ruling is now paused for 14 days, lending time for an appeal and for the US Supreme Court to consider whether to uphold or overturn Colorado's decision.
The Supreme Court of the United States ought to affirm this decision.
From Trump's campaign, we have full confidence that the US Supreme Court will quickly rule in our favour and finally put an end to these un-American lawsuits. Today, another hurdle in what is a complicated road to the presidency for Donald Trump. But one thing in his favour, the polls. Trump leads President Joe Biden in almost every battleground state.
Crooked Joe Biden is a low IQ individual. He is truly the worst, most incompetent and most corrupt president in the history of our country.
But on election day, it's not the polls that do the talking, it's the people. And in Colorado, Donald Trump now faces the real possibility his name won't be on the ballot. In the United States, Lauren Tomasi, 9 News.
Iceland's government says the spectacular fiery scenes from a volcanic eruption do not present a threat to life. But residents in the country's capital are being warned the city might be hit with gas pollution.
Shooting into the sky from a 4-kilometre crack in the Earth's surface, fountains of molten lava. An extraordinary sight on Iceland's Reykjanes Peninsula.
It's just like something from a movie.
But if the magma starts gushing towards Grindavik, the closest fishing village, where 4,000 locals have been evacuated, it could threaten homes or the popular tourist attraction, the Blue Lagoon.
We have cleared the town and the area, and now we're just securing the area.
Iceland's Met Office says the lava is flowing at a rate of 100 to 200 cubic metres a second, but its intensity is already decreasing. The country's capital, Reykjavik, warned to expect gas pollution soon.
The type of eruption we're seeing is what we call a fissure eruption with lava flows. It's not an explosive eruption. Fingers crossed, if it stays like this, it will just be one of nature's spectacular things to observe.
Volcanologists say they don't expect this eruption to cause anywhere near the level of disruption caused by 2010's one, where a huge ash cloud sparked the largest closure of European airspace since World War II. Still, they expect these fiery scenes to last several days, or possibly even several months. Curry-Ann Greenbank, 9 News.
WA's worst car park for festive bingles has been revealed, and it's at Westfield Innaloo, followed by parking lots in Baldivis and in Midland. Amy Insurance says the most common bingle is accidental damage while parked, with Thursday afternoons the peak time for mishaps.
Female drivers across the nation, apart from the Northern Territory, have been the leading drivers during the accidents, but that is also, we assume, because they are shopping more often than men.
The list generated after research into more than 23,000 car park insurance claims. There's plenty of local seafood to go around this Christmas, from lobster to tiger prawns and octopus galore. Sellers preparing today for a last-minute rush.
It's a merry Fishmas for seafood lovers.
This Christmas, chuck a prawn on the barbie, have a lobster or two. Check out some of the Fremantle Lockie. It is really great seafood.
All the favourites on offer this season. West Aussies encouraged to buy local.
You can be assured that our West Australian seafood is sustainable seafood.
This year, tiger prawns are cheaper than last, around $50 a kilo. Oysters setting you back around $30 for a dozen, harder to come by because of rains on the east coast. And for Western Rock lobster, around $45 per kilo.
You can meet the fisher directly, who will bring your order in from that day's fishing, take it out of the live tanks and put it straight into your esky with ice. So it's as if you caught it yourself.
Octopus becoming increasingly popular, with supply booming.
The octopus are breeding at a phenomenal rate, and there's so much octopus out there, we can't catch enough.
Demand for our local produce from around the globe.
Exports are up 51%.
So the world is clamouring for West Australian octopus.
6,000 lobsters have been sold off the back of boats this month alone. The demand for fresh, local seafood skyrocketing around the festive season.
Christmas is our peak catch period, so it's also the time of year when it costs the least to supply it to the market, and therefore it's the best value to customers.
Sarah Smith, 9 News.
Well, it was hot and windy across Perth again today. And Scherri-Lee, Biggs, tell us, how is it in Attadale tonight?
Tomo, it certainly was a lot hotter than expected today. We just didn't get that sea breeze coming through this afternoon. So the mercury crept up well into the day. Now, in the city, that peaked over 37 degrees. Certainly not the hottest place around town, though. Bullsbrook hit 38, while a few other suburbs surpassed that 37-degree mark. Now, the heat will continue to build across the south of the state as we head into a low-intensity heat wave. A slight cool relief arriving before the weekend does, but we do now have the updated forecast for Christmas Day, Tomo, and it has switched up a little bit, so I'll have those details coming up soon, along with more on this beautiful light display here in Attadale.
Looks fantastic, Sherry, thank you. Celebrating the outstanding achievements of Perth's top students next. Meet WA's Beasley medalists, revealing their secrets to success. Amazon founder Jeff Bezos blasts back into the commercial space race. A mother saves her baby with the reflexes of a cat. And later, why it's more important than ever to have a fire plan. They are Perth's top students, and today were awarded Beasley medals for outstanding results for both ATAR and vocational studies. With smiles from ear to ear, they were more than happy to share the secrets to their success.
Isaac Pinozzo back where it began. The 17-year-old visiting his old classroom after he was officially awarded the Beasley Medal for vocational education and training.
It was only when they explained that there's only one student in WA that gets this. There's only 2 Beasley Awards, and if you win one of them, it's an insane deal.
The first student in Melville Senior High School history to receive the award. This is his secret to success.
You have to show up every week, show up every day. You have to do the work. You have to make sure you're on time. It is stressful at points, but you will not regret it.
Isaac Pinozzo to now turn his attention to software engineering.
I've been given the opportunity to study at Murdoch University and major in computer science.
Isaac's pretty clear on what he wants to do, and he's had a bit of a taster of what that job will be. So, yeah, I'm super proud of him.
Meanwhile, Methodist Ladies College Elena Latcham took the top gong for ATAR with a score of 99.95. She wants to be a doctor.
My dad's a cardiologist, so I guess I was definitely inspired by him. You really have to start from the very beginning of the year, know what your goals are, know what your plan is.
Both students achieving the highest results out of the entire 2023 graduating cohort. Most recent numbers show the traditional pathway of ATAR is becoming less trodden as time goes on. WA now the lowest ranked state for university entrance exam participation, just 28% of Year 12s taking part.
We are looking at why that is so, and as I said, I look forward to receiving the very comprehensive review that's been undertaken on post-secondary pathways.
Rachel Clifford, 9 News.
More than 150 people linked to sex offender Jeffrey Epstein are expected to be identified after a ruling from a New York judge. The names are part of documents from Virginia Giuffre's lawsuit against Ghislaine Maxwell. Anyone on the list has until January 1 to appeal the decision. Billionaire Jeff Bezos is back in the space race with the successful launch of Blue Origin's space tourism rocket. Today's unmanned mission comes after the company was grounded for more than a year.
And liftoff.
Blue Origin headed back to space and getting back in the race.
Loving that view back down on the clouds over West Texas.
15 months after this fiery failure, which left the company grounded amid an investigation, Jeff Bezos's space tourism vessel today marking mission success. No human on board the New Shepard 24, instead 33 payloads containing scientific research, along with 38,000 postcards.
Each postcard is returned to its creator stamped, flown in space.
Blue Origin's launch comes a month after Elon Musk's SpaceX rocket Starship exploded in the sky. It's a battle of the billionaires amid their race to produce the goods for NASA and put man back on the moon. Today's blast-off for Bezos marks the 9th time his rocket has entered space. It's reusable.
We've learned how to launch, land and repeat. We've been able to take these boosters and to fly them over and over again.
But when will people be back on board?
We look forward to flying our next crewed flight soon.
In the United States, Lauren Tomazi, 9 News.
A mother has pulled her young daughter to safety seconds before the child was crushed by an out-of-control car in the UK. The 2-year-old child and female driver were taken to hospital with minor injuries after the incident, which was in Birmingham. The latest live on the Lancelin firefight next, plus why it's more important than ever to have a fire plan even in Metro Perth. Next, new statistics show more bushfires breaking out this year compared to last. 500 kilos of meat snatched by Christmas Grinches in a pre-Christmas heist. Telstra grants rare access to the team responsible for keeping Australia connected, and a good news update on the health of our favourite Aussie rocker. Let's get the latest now on that blaze burning out of control in Lancelin. Rachel Clifford, there's a huge fire front near the town tonight.
Residents are being told to flee to the beach this hour, Michael, as this blaze bears down on Lancelin. It's being fanned by strong easterlies, which could change direction later tonight. Right now, the fire is burning between the golf course and town site, heading in a northwesterly direction toward the ocean. The coastal town cut off by road. Residents told they're in danger, that they need to go to the town jetty. And in West Toodyay tonight, an out-of-control fire continues to burn there. Firefighters facing the same possibility of a wind change. Michael.
Night for firefighters. Rachel, thank you. And with WA in the grips of a hot, dry summer, firefighters are reminding everyone to have an evacuation plan, even in Metro Perth.
Erica Huggins was lucky not to lose her home in the Wanneroo bushfire.
There was a big plume of smoke. I knew it was still a little bit away from us, but checked the wind. The wind was heading west, straight towards us.
She leapt to action, evacuating her 4 horses just as roads closed. Business owner Jenny Callahan also acted ahead of time.
We had a beautiful fire come up and ask, what have we got left here? He said, who told you to evacuate? I said, no one. I said, we're doing this, precautionary. He goes, great. I'll leave you to it.
DFES praising the 2 women, saying everyone should have a bushfire evacuation plan.
If people don't have an established bushfire plan, it does have an impact on responders in the way that they might leave it too late. We have people in and around property, so it's an additional risk.
Including animals in a plan, essential.
It takes time to evacuate your animals or livestock or pets, and that can have a direct impact on the time it takes to evacuate your family.
And think about the details such as whether you've got adequate feed, supplies, evacuation locations and devices to move your animals.
WA's fire season started earlier than usual this year due to a drier than average winter. Since the beginning of October, there's been more than 2,000 bushfires, up 50% on the same time last year. Anyone still needing to make a plan this summer should visit the Bushfire WA app or website for more info. Genevieve Lamond, 9 News.
A family-owned butcher is counting the cost of being robbed just 5 days out from Christmas. Grinches snatching 400 kilograms of meat, including festive hams. Police now investigating the brazen heist.
There's hamming it up for the camera, and then there's this. A thief has just broken into this butcher's cold room, helping himself to leg after leg after leg of Christmas ham. He struggles with the weight of his stolen haul, but he's not done yet.
About 400 kilos of meat has been stolen.
cartons of meat as well as full leg hams, 16 full leg hams.
Incredibly, he comes back, taking another load and then a third.
Probably estimating about $7,000 in total. Just made me feel sick to the stomach, and then watching the footage of the person committing the crime just made me feel even worse.
The crook makes a getaway just before Lisa's husband arrives to the Glasshouse Mountains business. Police now investigating the theft while Lisa keeps an eye online.
Gumtree and Marketplace to see if maybe something has been put up there. A domestic fridge is not going to hold all of this meat.
This is where the brazen burglar jimmied his way in, and while he may have cleared out most of the cool room, the Wagners say he hasn't completely robbed them of their Christmas cheer.
He's not going to stop us. We're going to fulfil all of our orders. I've even been reached out by other butchers who've asked if we need any help. Do we have enough stock? Can we get more hams? So it is very special.
Today they'll finish cooking the replacement Christmas hams.
I've been heartened by my customers.
Anna Rawlings, 9 News.
Telstra has opened the doors to its high-security operations headquarters for the first time in years. The company says its systems will help avoid a mass outage like the one competitor Optus had last month.
Hundreds of staff monitoring thousands of problems whenever they pop up. This, according to Telstra, is the secret control hub that goes into overdrive if any part of the network goes down.
Any production issues, any outages, you will see red, red, red on that screen.
But today the telco is publicly flexing its muscle over its biggest competitor, letting cameras have a look at the hidden facility in Melbourne, saying their problems are kept small here, and that Optus's massive nationwide outage last month that cost the CEO her job wouldn't be allowed to happen.
Every day we're doing what we call match fit exercises. That's wargaming should we lose a major part of the network or something we haven't seen before.
Even though almost everything we do is now wireless, it's still billions of cables and pieces of hardware that keep the telco going, and even a little damage can cause a big problem. And no surprise to customers, plenty of issues still make it through to those paying top dollar for service. According to the Telecommunications Ombudsman, Telstra received close to 27,000 complaints this year. That is down 35% on 2022. But the biggest issues for customers were a lack of action, fees, service and outages.
The only right number for Ombudsman complaints is 0.
But even with issues popping up, Telstra is flaunting its position as the country's biggest telco, saying the network is being kept safe here day and night. Chris Kohler, 9 News.
We have some good news tonight on the health of Aussie rock legend Jimmy Barnes, the singer revealing he'll be home in time for Christmas after undergoing open heart surgery last week. The 67-year-old says he'll be discharged from hospital on Friday after being given the all clear by his doctors. They are round, red, sweet and disappearing from shop shelves after sport outrages Woolworths ditches an iconic Australian chocolate. Plus, we named the popular sunscreen feared to offer you no protection at all. But first, Matthew Pavlich is here with Sport. And Pav, a massive payday for our cricketers.
Indeed, certainly is, Tomo. Some early Christmas presents with players cashing in on their recent white ball success. Big sums for our stars, but how will it impact the traditional forms of the game? Clayton clears out early from camp as his teammates sweat it out in the sand. And a summer storm is brewing. WA's best hunting more success. Mitchell Starc and Pat Cummins have become the highest earners in IPL history, signing massive new deals. And while it's an early Christmas present for WA's Jai Richardson and Ashton Turner, one Aussie cricket great is fearing for the future of Test cricket. Taking to the field tonight as scorchers, the Perth pair with a pep in their step after signing fresh IPL deals. Richardson heading to Delhi to work under Aussie icon Ricky Ponting.
Thankful to be going over there again and giving it another crack. The competition in the IPL is so fickle that you have no idea. You've got no preconceived ideas of where you're going or whether or not you're even going to go.
While Turner will team up with former coach Justin Langer in Lucknow. This time last year, Spencer Johnson hadn't played a game in the Big Bash. Today, He is one of the world's highest paid players, sold for $1.8 million in the IPL auction.
Never really thought I'd be in this situation. Mum and Dad back home were just, I don't think they can believe it when they put the number in and it spat out whatever it spat out.
That was dwarfed by the bags of cash thrown at Australia's frontline fast bowlers, Pat Cummins claiming $3.6 million.
I think we're going to have a lot of fun in this season and hopefully plenty of success.
Mitchell Starc, the highest payday in IPL history, $4.4 million.
And I can't wait to get to Eden Gardens to experience the home fans, the home crowd and the atmosphere.
It's a reason to celebrate for our Aussie stars, but raising questions around the traditional formats of the game.
I think Australia have got it right, but that pressure is going to be even greater in years to come. There's already talk about a second IPL. There's Dubai leagues, there's American leagues popping up everywhere.
Is there a threat to Test cricket?
Oh, no doubt. There's an ongoing threat to Test cricket. Domestic leagues around the world are getting bigger. There's getting more of them, and that obviously is going to put pressure on every nation.
Speaking of the Scorchers captain, and Ashton Turner has been forced from the field after injuring his right knee just one ball into his spell against the Hurricanes. Jason Behrendorff, the chief early destroyer, taking 4 for 25. The visitors fighting back through Chris Jordan, smashing the fastest 50 in the club's history.
Oh, you heard it. Let's watch it. Another monster.
Jordan then striking early with the ball. The Scorchers currently 1 for 82, chasing 173 for victory. Well, the Eagles have signed off for their Christmas break with an intense match simulation at today's training. Midfielder Elliot Yeo building on his workload as Harley Reid continues to throw himself into his first pre-season.
With the festive period looming, there was little time to rest at Lathlane. The Eagles leaving everything on the track with one final hit out. Showing signs of what's to come in the new year, midfielder Elliot Yeo ramping up his training load and joining the match simulation, with prized pick Harley Reid shaking off tackles and throwing his weight around the midfield. Jermaine Jones, Campbell Chesser and Jai Cully on light duties, while Elijah Hewitt still nurses a hot spot in his foot. In Victoria, the Demons wrapping up a 4-day pre-season camp in Lorne, but without star midfielder Clayton Oliver. Oliver, his medical team and club doctors all coming to the decision the 26-year-old wasn't in a state to take part, sending their troubled star back to Melbourne to recover from what the club's labelled a personal medical issue.
Obviously going through some personal stuff at the moment. He's my locker buddy, so yeah, he's been great, and yeah, just working through some things obviously. So the club been unbelievable with their support to him, and yeah, everyone's behind him.
His teammate Angus Brayshaw edging towards contact training for the first time since his infamous concussion. Positive news for the reigning premiers too. Magpie Nathan Murphy cleared by an independent concussion panel to play on next season. The defender suffering 10 knocks in his career, including in this year's grand final. Alexia Pesce, 9 News.
WA's Storm Hunter says the title of world #1 doubles player is still sinking in ahead of next week's United Cup in Perth. Storm describing the opportunity to play in front of families and friends as a dream come true.
I didn't really think about it, but it's been really nice to celebrate, you know, with all those people who've been along the journey with me, and yeah, kind of to start the year as one is crazy, to be honest.
It's a very different build-up for Aussie teammate Isla Tomljanovic. The 30-year-old sidelined for 10 months with a knee injury, admitting it almost ended her career.
There's still a lot to improve on, especially my movement and things, but at the same time I feel like I can play a high level with what I've got.
Team Australia begin their campaign at RAC Arena next Friday, and of course you can catch it all here on 9. Well, the Wildcats are preparing to face their biggest challenge yet, 3 games away in 7 days. Forward Hiram Harris understands the sacrifices players must make, but uncertain of the heavy schedule during the festive period.
It is what it is. If we have to play on Christmas Day, we have to play on Christmas Day as part of the job. But yeah, Christmas is all about spending family in my eyes, so whatever I can do spend time with family on Christmas.
The Cats take on ladder leaders Melbourne United on Saturday. Now, he talks about games on Christmas Day. They play on Saturday, yes, so the 23rd, and then they play on Boxing Day.
Yes.
2 games, NBL games, on Christmas Day. It happens in the US. Do you like it?
I'm not big on sport on Christmas Day. I reckon there's probably one day we can do with that, but that's just me. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, I think it's a divided opinion. Yeah, I'm probably the same, actually.
Yeah.
More traditionalist. Boxing Day, though, I like that.
Exactly. All right, Matthew, thank you. Coming up, a popular sunscreen has been recalled. We'll tell you why it's said to offer no protection at all. That's next. And Woolies pulls Jaffas from the stores, leaving lolly lovers with a bitter taste. And the weekend weather report live from Adelaide, Scherri-Lee. Sunny skies ahead.
Another scorching day tomorrow, Tomo, hitting 37 degrees and some very uncomfortable nights, but that Christmas forecast is looking a touch cooler than it was before. We'll have all the details coming up soon. Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas!
Jaffas have been rolled down the aisles at theatres for decades, but now a supermarket giant's decided to remove them from the shelves. Woolworths is no longer stocking the orange chocolate treat.
They're a family favourite.
I remember long ago at my favourite picture show how I used to roll me Jaffas down the aisle.
But now the orange-flavoured chocolate-coated balls have been quietly removed from the shelves of Woolworths supermarkets across the country and follows the demise of other Aussie classics like Fantails.
What do you think about Woolworths dumping Jaffas from the shelves?
How dare they? What are you going to roll down the aisle at the movies?
Very disappointed. I was actually wanting to buy some today for the noses for my reindeer biscuits.
In a statement, Woolworths says we're constantly reviewing the range of products we sell, and that can mean some are replaced. What does the man behind the 70s Jaffas jingle think?
I can't do it anymore. They've put carpet on the floor and the Jaffas get caught up in the shag pile.
Well, I was a bit shocked. But Woolworths, what are they thinking? Yes. If you can't get your Jaffas at Woolworths shelves, you might have to find somewhere else.
And that's exactly what you can do. The bite-sized balls available at other supermarkets, including the Woolworths Group's own Big W. So the shag pile at your favourite picture show may have gone, meaning it's been a little easier to roll your Jaffas down the aisle. But now that Woolworths has rolled them from their shelves, rolling them at the cinema may have become just that little bit harder. Alan Rascal, 9 News.
2 popular sunscreens are on a recall list tonight over fears they offer no sun protection at all. Some batches of Bondi Sands Mineral Zinc Sunscreen 50 Plus Face Lotion and 50 Plus Body Lotion aren't mixed properly. Anyone who has the products with these batch numbers can return them for a full refund. Insurance claims for damage caused by Tropical Cyclone Jasper are now being made in their hundreds. Here's finance editor Chris Kohler.
The numbers are expected to rise, but so far Suncorp says it's received more than 900 claims relating to ex-tropical cyclone Jasper and the flooding that's followed in the days after. Insurance Australia Group, which operates NRMA and CGU, among other brands, says it's had 230, up from 155 yesterday, so the numbers are now rising fast. Over on the share market today, another rise to a new 10-month high. Supermarkets and Telstra lifted, Fortescue fell slightly, but it remains up 36% for the year. And the Australian dollar is also touching multi-month highs as the end of the year gets closer. Today it was within reach of 68 US cents and 62 euro cents.
WA kids in need will have a brighter Christmas thanks to a donation drive by staff at Crown Perth. Workers today donating more than 400 toys to the charity, which will be distributed to families doing it tough.
People are struggling just to pay for the basic essentials of life, so Christmas naturally is going to be a big ask for families.
$10 from every buffet meal at Crown's Epicurean restaurant will also be donated to the Salvos until January. Forecast for the coming festive break, live with Scherri-Lee from Adelaide.
Welcome back. Well, you'll want to see this incredible display here in Attadale, especially after the sun goes down. Now, Marcus is just 15 years old and he decorates this and puts it together every year, but just in one day. Although it takes about 6 months of planning, you can find his display along with hundreds more at xmaslightstrail.com.au. Now, it's still a very warm 34 degrees at the moment because just a few hours ago, the mercury peaked at 37 47 in the city. A heat trough is deepening over WA. It's brought the hot conditions today. The highest temperature recorded at Marble Bar at 45.5 degrees, and we'll see the heat continue to filter south tomorrow. The west coast is now part of that low-intensity heat wave. Looking ahead to the east coast now, and Brisbane is expecting up to 20 mil of rain tomorrow, a top of 28 degrees, partly cloudy and 24 in Melbourne. It is heating up again in Alice Springs, a top of 36 on the way. And tracking west, there are still areas of extreme heat wave for northern WA tomorrow. Marble Bar forecast to reach a scorching 47 degrees, heating up in the south as well. Bunbury partly cloudy tomorrow and heading for 33. Dalwallinu could reach a top of 41. Checking coastal conditions around Perth now. Time to go fishing. A southeasterly in the morning will kick up to 20 knots, but season swell are both sitting low. And we have another scorcher on the way to Perth. It's nearing 40 degrees in Midland. There is extreme fire danger warnings for Swan Inland North and also Swan Inland South. Not really cooling down much tonight either. We'll start the day with a low of 24 in the city. It should reach 37 degrees mid to late afternoon. Another warm night leading into Friday, a touch cooler at 32 degrees. And for the Christmas trio, 34 and sunny on Christmas Eve. Another change up for Christmas Day now, looking to a partly cloudy 32. And by Boxing Day, the cool change will have moved through, a bit of cloud and heading for a mild 26 degrees. Now, Tomo, we are announcing the winner of the People's Choice Award later this week. Very exciting, but for now, it is goodbye from Attadale. Make sure you come and check this one out, though, because it's pretty spectacular.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. They've all been great. Going to be a tough decision to find out a winner. Sherry, thank you. That's 9 News Perth for this Wednesday. Thanks for your company. Current Affair is next. Enjoy your evening. Good night.